Okay.
Ready? Okay, glad you're all here. What we're going to do is several things today. We're going to continue about leads for two reasons. You should know what good leads are anyway, it's just part of good bridge. Half the time you're on defense, and if you don't know what to lead, that's a big disadvantage. The other thing is, in the cheating program, that's one of the things they look at. What are you leading? And if you should do something strange and it should work out for you, which it does, right? Bridge is a statistical game. You don't have to do something brainy if it's your lucky day, right? If it's your lucky day, you get away with murder. Anyway, you get away with murder too much when you're being watched on the online games, you will be flagged for cheating. And they call it weird leads, but what it means, it's not statistically correct. Like, their program is correct. They know when a lead is poor. They're good at that. There's lots of things they're not good at, but they're good at that. And this is an example. Here's the auction. The declare, we don't see declare's hand. They opened a spade. This hand is the leader. It's a perfect double, right? You should be doubling with that all day long, basically.
Okay.
Opening hand and three or more cards in the three unbid suits. It does not promise four hearts. It just promises three or more cards in the other three suits. That's what it promises. This is a textbook double. So she got it right and she doubled. By the way, if you did have a double 10 here, say this two of hearts was the two of spades, what's your bid? You still have an opening hand, what do you bid?
Diamond.
Pass.
Pass.
Okay.
There's sometimes, and it's a lot of people say just what you said, well, I had an opener. And you're right, you do have an opener. But when you have an opener, you get to open. But it's too late to open, they already bid a spade, right?
Okay.
So you can't open anymore.
Right.
Unless you bid at a turn, like if you
Right.
beat them to the bid box, then maybe bid a diamond. But, you know, short of that, you can't bid a diamond, you know. And
Yeah.
two diamonds is an overcall, which shows a good suit. Typically, you want it led. Typically, it's a 5-card suit. You can't bid two diamonds. You're way too weak to bid one no trump, right? Plus, you don't have a spade stop, but even if you did have a spade stop, to bid one no trump over one spade, it's still at least 15 to 17. Some people play at 16 to 18. So you pass. And this is an important concept because when you pass, what should be going through your partner's mind is, it does not mean you don't have an opener. It just means you don't have a bid, right? That's what it means. It doesn't mean you don't have an opener. So if your partner is not thinking that way, you're gonna probably get a bad result, and then afterwards you can shoot them. But anyway, it's you need a partner to realize just because you didn't bid doesn't mean you have an opening hand. It just means you didn't have a bid. And it's up to them, and that's what they call balancing, right? If this hand should pass behind you, your partner needs to stretch the bid because he has to protect your hand. They call that balancing, they call it borrowing a king. Like your partner would bid is if they have a king more than they really do in their hand. So your partner needs to protect you, and if they don't, shoot them. Okay, so anyway.
Please flog them.
Yeah.
Shooting's more permanent. Anyway, so it goes one spade, correct double. This person jumps to 4 spades. By the way, what does 4 spades show?
Yeah, 5 at least spades and to play.
Just a weak hand.
Yeah, it's a weak hand
Yeah,
is the
right,
point.
weak hand.
When you jump like that, that's called fast arrival. It means I'm not interested in looking for slam. It means I have enough for game, and they probably have, just what Carolyn said, they probably have at least 5 spades, and they say, you got 5 spades, I got 5 spades. That's 10 spades. Hey, you don't have a seat. That's 10 spades, and
Excuse us, sorry.
it's okay. Yeah, it's 10 spades, so that's law of total tricks. You could take the same number of tricks that you have trump when you have distributional hands. It doesn't work with flat hands, but it works with distributional hands. So this hand is fast to rival a good 4 spades. And now you have to lead from this hand. And basically, a lot of times you don't have a good choice, right? With both bidding and playing. Just because you know all the book plays doesn't mean you get to do one, right? If you don't have the right hand, you know, unless you're bringing cards from home, you know, you got to go with the cards you got. And so you got to play one of these, right?
On the leader side is.
Yeah, that's why they're the leader. They're the opening leader, right?
Fourth best.
Well, you're not playing no trump, you're playing spades, remember?
Oh.
Jack of diamonds.
I believe spade.
I'm gonna lead a spade.
Yeah, I would say Jack.
That's what I.
Yeah, basically, what you're not gonna do almost for sure are those 2 suits. You almost never lead from a tennis when your partner hasn't bid it. You have no reason to believe that your partner can help you. Like if your partner bid hearts or diamonds, sure, lead one. But your partner passed, right? Of course, he didn't have much choice here. You know, it was already up to 4 spades. But you have no idea what your partner has. And what you do know is opener has high card points. That's why he opened, right? He's got open, and if you lead away from your tennis, if you lead a heart, who's the most likely one at the table to have the king? Opener, right? You just gave opener a trick. If you lead a diamond, who's the most likely one to have the queen? The opener, right? Yeah, sometimes you'll be lucky your partner will have the queen, you know. But typically you do not lead away from a tennis, otherwise it's considered a weird lead. So, and if you,
So you're saying you wouldn't lead a diamond there?
no, we're not playing no trump, right? If we're playing no trump, yeah, I would lead a diamond, right?
Okay.
No trump, I'm leading my best suit. But
Right.
we're playing spades.
Okay.
When you're playing a suit contract, side suits, typically they go around twice, right? Then they're gonna get rough. So that you know, because the hands are not splitting, rarely will you get the trick the 3rd time around, right? Somebody's gonna be roughing it. So you're not gonna lead something where they're gonna take their ace and queen and you're gonna get nothing, right? And that's what would typically happen there. Like, sure, occasionally you'll get lucky and your partner will have a high diamond. And we're gonna talk about when you would try to get lucky, but not on this hand. This hand, we're looking at what's the normal lead that most people are gonna do. And the safest lead from this hand is
Spade.
lead spade, and that's what I would do. By the way, how many spades does your partner have?
One or none.
Yeah,
Maybe
1
2.
or none, right?
Maybe 2 if they didn't have 5 over here.
They should have 5 to
Yeah,
make the
they
bid.
should have, but
Yeah, well, assuming you're playing with people who know how to play, like
if it's 1 or none.
if you're playing with people who don't, they have anything. But assuming you're playing with people who know how to play, both partners have shown 5 spades. To open 1 spade, to jump to 4 spades, right? Both of them showed 5, you have 2. Your partner only has 1. So it's a safe lead. That's what most people will do, and it's a good lead. Why is it a good lead?
Using up their trump.
Reduces their roughing capability.
Exactly right. Remember, they jumped to 4 spades. The 4-spade jump is not a powerful hand. That means I got a lot of spades. This guy's gonna wanna cross rough the hand, right? So you're gonna stop him. So you should be leading the spade. Like, So that's clearly the best lead. A poor second choice would be to lead a small club and hope your partner has either the ace or the queen. It's not as good as leading a spade. You would definitely not lead a red suit. And what was led to get it classified as a weird lead, it led to two hearts.
Yeah.
And her partner had the king. And that got the cheating flag going. Now, it doesn't mean she cheated. And one of the things that I always look at is, and that's why I don't see eye to eye with
Yeah.
the people who support this. If you do something strange and it doesn't help you, it ain't cheating in my mind. Like, why are you doing this, right? To get a good score. So if you're not getting a good score and you already know your partner's hand and you're getting a bad score, that shouldn't count as cheating.
Plus,
Anyway,
there used to be a saying, you know, for people when you're learning, lead the unbid major. You know, that used to be
yeah,
kind of common.
people do all kinds of stuff. But anyway, that's why we're talking about it today. Don't you do it.
Right, I understand, but I mean, I can understand where that came from.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I'm gonna show you one more hand and then we're gonna move on from this kind of stuff. There's the auction, your partner never bid. Declare bid clubs, then they bid diamonds. Dummy bid hearts. And then later on they supported your diamond. And what are you gonna lead? Sure, absolutely.
I didn't hear.
Jack of spades, right?
Mhm.
One, it's the unbid suit, and two, it's the top of the sequence, right? Jack, 10, 9, right? When you got three of them in a row, it's a natural lead,
Yeah.
something you should look to do. So that's the normal lead. And what she led,
Seven is back,
yeah, why'd she do that? Because she was leading fourth best, right?
right?
Like she didn't know better, she wasn't cheating, but anyway, and And it's a bad lead, you just hurt yourself, right? You're hiding all those cards from your partner. Your partner's never gonna lead. You have Jack 10, 9, 8 when you lead the 7, right? Yeah.
So partner, if the dummy plays low, partner, should he come up with his king?
They should, unless, if they let the Jack, partner always comes up with the king unless the queen's on the board, right?
Uh-huh,
You'd save
okay.
the king behind the queen.
Uh-huh.
But if the queen's not on the board, you go up with the king. Anyway, that's considered a weird lead, right? And it didn't help her any, but it got her flagged.
Oh.
So anyway, I don't want any of you to get,
So play
Flag.
king if you don't see the queen on the board.
if they let the Jack. If they
Yeah,
let the
led
7,
jack
they,
and
yeah.
But
Well-
if they led the queen, I mean, you see the queen, then you're gonna play,
yeah, if they led the 7, now everything is hard for you, right?
yeah, right, but they led the jack and you take it with the king if no queen's on the board.
Right, because either your partner has the queen or declares about to win the queen. So, so you come up with the king. But the point is, this hand needs to lead the top of the sequence. That's a natural lead, you should be looking to do that, and you'd never lead 4th best when it's a natural lead. We could do more of these, but it's really not what I want to do. I will make one further comment, and we looked at it before. You don't underlead honors when your partner hasn't led it. That's also a weird lead,
So
unless you
then
have a
when-
reason. Like if you have king 7, 3, and your partner never did that suit, don't lead it. Basically, remember, who has the best hand at the table most of the time? Declare. You underlead that king, there's a good chance that the queen is held by declare, or it might even be held by dummy. And if declare has the ace and the queen between those two hands, they just got 2 tricks. Don't underlead that. Same thing, queen 7, 3. It's also a bad thing to underlead unsupported honors. It's what they call a weird lead. And the reason is, especially with the queen, it's even less chance that you're ever going to get it if you underlead it. Queen is not that strong a card. You underlead the queen, there's a good chance you're never going to get that trick. And of course, you don't underlead aces. When I say, and this is not never, it's rarely. Sometimes you can figure it out, that on that hand it's correct. It doesn't change the need for you to think, right? I could tell you all the rules in the world, and you still need to think. But the general rule is you do not underlead honors unless your partner bid them. Occasionally sometimes you're stuck, you have to lead an honor, your whole hand is underleading an honor. And then typically you would lead, on mid suit, right? That's typically something you would do. Or, and if you're gonna lead a suit led by the opponents, don't lead one led by declare, right? Don't lead up to declare, lead it through the dummy. Lead dummy suit, make declarers guess whether you have that honor, right?
You said unless your partner bid. Okay, if your partner bids, but you don't win the bid, and let's say you have that queen 6, 4 in clubs, I'm just making up.
Yeah.
Would you lead the queen then so she can figure out what everybody else has?
No, I would shoot you if you led the queen.
It shoots.
Well,
Two people today.
But
But it
basically,
didn't quite as good.
basically, if your partner bid it, you would lead it, but it's still the standard thing, like you don't lead honors out of your hand.
Okay,
Like basically, your standard, and that's a good question, which is gonna lead me where we're going next. You would lead the 3. The 3 says, that's Boston, right? Bottom is something, top is nothing. If I led the 3, I have an honor. You don't know what it is, but you know I have an honor. You lead the 3, not the queen. But it's a good question, so a lot of people do lead the queen, and one of the things I've always saw, there's no shortage of people who will give you advice. And most of the advice is wrong. When I used to mentor, my mentees would come up to me and tell me all this weird stuff that people told them. I said, the only one you listen to is me. And you can tell them that, and if they don't like it, have them come talk to me. None of them ever did. Basically, it's still low from an honor, whether your partner bid it or not. The exception is if you have a double pin, right? Then you play high-low, right? Also, if you're playing in a no-trump contract, then you could lead away from an honor and you'd lead 4th best, right? Those are standard leads. So we're mostly talking suit leads, but even no trump, when you have a sequence, you lead from the top of the sequence. You don't lead 4th best when you have king, queen, jack, 7. Like, it's the king, not the 7. Okay, any other questions? Not just that I'm telling you this, but why I'm telling you this. It's not because, you know, I dreamt this up this morning and now I'm going to inflict it on you. This is kind of standard stuff. Okay, what I want to talk about, and this is something that my partner and I screwed up in the last game because we never talked about it. So, you know, we were not on the same page, and so it's important if you play with the same person a lot that you keep talking so you could find these things before you get them wrong at the table, like we did. And it wasn't that either of us was particularly to blame, but it was wrong. If you have 3 small ones, and you decide to lead it, and say it's not trump, which of the 3 are you going to lead?
no,
The tops.
Some people do that, they do mud, right? Middle up, down, right? Middle up, down, right? So that's a common agreement. So if you had 6, 7, 4, 3, you would lead the 4, and then the 7 up and down is the 3. That's the order you would lead them. That's a popular thing. Not everybody does that. Some people do what?
Top and nothing.
Yeah, top and nothing. So then they would lead the 7, right? Which is better? Okay, I'll give you a hint. There is no better.
Which is what?
There is no better. That's why you have to discuss it. And basically, one of the things that when I used to play with Aletha, if you let a low card, you had better have an honor or she would shoot you. That's what the low card meant. Like, we playing bridge here, or you playing by yourself? If I let a low card, I've got an honor. And then, almost everything I teach you is right from Larry Cohn, right? I'm a big Larry Cohn fan. He's the one who's probably authority on basic bridge. He's been writing in the bulletin for decades what these basic bids mean. And what he says is just what I told you. If you led a low one, you're promising an honor, except maybe not on the opening lead. You have to agree with your partner if you do it on the opening lead, if you have an honor. Like I always played that it did. Larry Cohn says you can do that, but you have to agree with it. And it's back to this. say I have 9, 3, 2. That's my holding. And I decide to lead this. Well, I'm playing mud, like you said. Out comes the 3. What does my partner think?
You have an honor.
I have an honor, right? I'm about to be shot, right?
Yeah,
That's why you have to discuss it, like you're always doing mud, and then your partner has to look at the dummy in his own hand, see if he sees the 2, and hopefully he can figure it out, but it's now hard for him, right?
is there any card denomination that really is good for mud? I mean,
Sure, the stuff that's good for mud is, if I have 9, 7, 3, if I play the 7,
mm-hmm,
and now I play the 9,
okay.
it's real clear, right? It's mud, right? If I play the 3, now my partner has to figure out, I don't have an honor. If we're playing that, a low card on the opening lead shows an honor. So it depends what your holding is, like mud works great. And if you're doing top and nothing, the problem with that, no matter what you have, as soon as I play the 9, the next one's gonna be lower, right?
Mm-hmm,
What's my partner gonna be thinking?
it's double.
Double.
Yeah, so you have to train your partner, don't be thinking that. And so that's something you should discuss which you wanna play. And and that's why there was no right answer to it, but you and your partner need to be on the same wavelength on how you're playing it.
Is it okay, like, say you agree you're gonna play, top down on the opening lead, in other words,
Yeah,
if I
top and
lead
nothing.
the 9, I've got nothing. Is it all right then to convert to mud as the game goes on?
That only has to do with opening leads.
Okay,
After that, if you lead a low one, you're promising an honor. If you lead a high one, you're saying you don't.
okay,
But
good.
the opening leads are tricky, and it's something you need to discuss. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, since we're talking about defense, and this has been in the bulletin. Three bulletins. September through November of this year. Active versus passive defense. And we're not going to do all of that today, but we're going to do some of it today. And those are the two not September, we're not even up to November. July through September, right? So, July through September. And it's written in this James Marsh's column, who's a special contributor.
Who is it?
James Marsh.
James Marsh.
James Marsh. He's a special contributor. And in September, that's it, I keep saying that, but July, it's on page 67. And when you're playing defense, one of the first things that go through your mind is You want to play active defense or passive defense? We'll talk about active first, because he talks about it first. Active means take your tricks, because you're going to disappear if you don't. That's what active defense means. It means like you might see something on the board where dummy has a real long suit, and you know that declare is going to be throwing away all his winners as soon as he gets in, right? So that's called active defense. Like normally I'm not going to lead an ace out of my hand, but now I am, because if I don't lead the ace out of my hand, it's going to be gone. Kind of like before, where when King, Jack, 10, normally I don't want to lead away from a tennis, right? Because I don't want to let the declare make his queen. When you're playing active defense, I'm taking a chance that my partner either has the ace or the queen, because we got to get our tricks now. So that's what active defense is. Active defense is you consider the bidding, you consider what you see in the dummy, and are your tricks going to disappear on you if you don't take them? And if you see them disappearing, you play active defense, you cash your tricks, and you take a chance that your partner's going to have a useful card, because you have nothing to lose. Because if you don't get them, you ain't going to get them. You got a good question?
If you do that, then you're gonna get flagged for cheating.
No, it's standard bridge.
Okay. Even with the hands you showed us before.
Sure, because there was nothing in the dummy that would make you think that dummy had a real long side suit where everything was going to be thrown away.
Okay.
But it's a good question. If dummy had bids like clubs like 3 times, right? And now they supported your spades, but you go through your mind, dummy has a hell of a lot of clubs and they're good. They bid him 3 times. When the declare gets in, he's going to throw away all his tricks on the clubs, lead away from the tennis. So yeah, that's standard stuff. But in this case, all dummy said is, I got a lot of spades. Well, that's not the thing. Okay, we're going to look at a hand, and you tell me how you would defend it.
I gotta go up online and print that page
How does it work with
out.
aces?
Cause I read those books.
If you have an ace or maybe 2 aces,
I've got it, I still got it.
is there ever a circumstance where you want to, and you're on defense, take your aces, or at least 1 ace right away, or is that just a no-no?
It's a good question, and it's not always, but it's usually wrong to cash an ace, because you're usually letting the declare make their king. One of the things is, when you have an ace, aces are meant to catch kings. You don't want to catch air with your ace. You don't want the low ones going under your ace. But a lot of people do that. I remember one time, I think somebody probably heard this story when I was playing with Aletha, who was the best defensive player I ever saw in my life. And she's the declare, and this person who's might be the worst player in the club. She plays her ace. Her partner plays a high card showing they have the king. They get the ace king, and before they're done, Aletha goes down, right? And then this player, who might be the worst one in the club, explains to Aletha, I always lay down my ace because I like to look at the dummy. And all Aletha said, well, I worked on that hand. Bridge is a game of statistics. So it's normally wrong to lay down aces. However, there are exceptions. One time is if your partner bid them. Because it's usually worse to underlead an ace than to cash the ace, right? Like there's nothing like underleading the ace and letting the declare have their singleton king, right? That's not a warm feeling. And so you normally do not underlead aces, but if your partner bid the suit, you have a decision. If I'm going to lead it, it's going to be the ace. The other time is if you're defending against a small slam. it's usually, not always, but it's usually, I'm gonna cash my ace and let the player figure out where the other cards are. They're not gonna throw me in and then play me with that ace. So those are two cases where you, and sometimes you could figure something out. You could figure out, or if you can figure out where things are and then you would play the ace. But normally it's wrong because I remember a deal that I played against this pair. They led to each other's ace. I had all the kings and queens, they had the four aces. They led a suit, I played small, they won the ace. They played small, I played low, they won the ace. They took their four aces off the top, and when they were all done, all my kings and queens were good. They felt good about it because they didn't know better, right?
Based on what you just said, the example you did up there where you show the three being led against the queen, if that's the ace, do you go ahead and lead the ace?
You bet.
Okay, lead the ace. In that situation, you don't lead away from your honor, you lead it.
You lead the ace, not the queen.
Yeah, I'm saying if I got ace 7-3 and my partner bid it, then I should lead the ace.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the standard thing.
That's different than what, you know. Okay.
Yeah,
And there's exceptions to that.
Yeah, I understand.
Like sometimes you could figure it out, like you might be able to figure it out based on how many you have and your partner bid them. Say your partner bid them twice, so he has 6, right? You have 4, right? That means between dummy and declare, they have 3, right? There's always 13 cards, right? And so if you can account for 10 of them, there's only 3 out. There's only 2, those 2 people have those 3 cards, right? If you cash your ace, maybe your ace will cash unless you're unlucky and somebody has all 3. But that's it for the suit, right? The suit is now dead because somebody's gonna be trumping, right? But you might figure out you need to get partner in because maybe you have an ace queen behind Claire's likely king, so you need partner to get in to lead. If you knock the only entry out of his hand by playing the ace, you ain't putting partner in, and now you're gonna lead and let partner make the contract, make the Claire make the contract. So there are times you figure it out where I'm gonna take a chance that my partner has the king because I really need him in and I need him to be on lead. And if I cash my ace, my partner's never getting in. All right? So there are always exceptions and you always have to think and, you know, I personally don't really like thinking, but on occasion you have to do it. Okay, let's take a look at this hand. And it's from, like I said, Marsh's column on page 67. And we're talking July. And here's the hand. This guy has 9 spades, hearts. Kroll, and you have this hand, right?
but
Kroll, you would have this hand,
Oh,
right?
I'm sure.
The hand with nothing, right?
Yeah,
Okay, here's the bidding. And of course, west, north, east, south, right? South opens spade, right? That's not too hard to do, right? West does what?
Double.
Sure, double, just like we talked about before. North, this is a good one for you. What does north do?
they have, 10 points.
2 spades, maybe 3.
11 points, right?
Yeah, 3 spades. No, 2.
Too strong for 2 spades.
Yeah, that's true.
Too strong for 2 spades. And 3 spades usually would show 4 of them, right?
That's right, 4, yeah.
No, that's not in our system, it doesn't.
Well,
Are they playing 2 over 1?
Are we playing birdie?
you should have 5
No.
hearts to be 2
One
hearts.
So he
no
doesn't
trump?
have 5 hearts.
You what?
So what do we bid?
Yeah, it's 4
Four
hearts.
spades, you got,
One no.
you got 3 or 4 of them, and you got
Okay.
invitational.
Yeah,
Done.
one
Redouble.
That's the bid.
Redouble, no fit.
Well, redouble implies no fit, but it shows the points.
Yeah,
You're showing your points,
right.
and
Yeah.
and you're not showing a fit, but you are showing points. So you are showing points.
If they did one no trump, is that not right?
You're over.
They don't have 4. One no trump. One no trump?
2 strong.
No.
One no stroke is a weak bid, right?
6 to 9 points for 1 note.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh,
Yeah,
they have-
they interfered here.
How
So
how many
what-
points with a redouble, Thomas?
It's typically 10 or more.
Oh.
10 plus, it's unlimited.
Uh-huh.
And you could be sure it's not gonna end here, right?
Right.
So that's the redouble. East passes back to south.
2 spades.
South, yeah, south would be more than happy to play 1 spade doubled and redoubled, right?
Sure.
So south can wait. So they passed.
You're in a lot of trouble.
And back to west. Well, what's west gonna do?
I bid 1 note.
One
Now
no with
we've got
no
a
spade
doubles and
stopper.
spade here.
Yeah.
Do that.
You would?
He's got a spade stopper.
We're talking west here.
Oh, west, west. I'm sorry.
Can't probably club.
Well, you can't because you already got 1 spade, so 2 clubs, right?
2 clubs,
You
yeah.
don't really like it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
the gun's to your head,
You're
right?
bad luck,
Yeah,
unless you could leave.
yeah, so you
You're
just
wrong,
picked 2
man.
clubs. And then,
North.
At this point, can North do 3 spades at this point?
yeah, now North showed good hands, so they did 2 spades, right? Like I already showed you.
Just 2,
I already showed you I have 10 plus points, there's no need to jump anymore.
okay.
So with 3,
Two.
you could,
Just 2 spades because I redoubled before, right? 2 spades is no longer weak. When you make a new bid, it doesn't take back your old bid, right?
Okay,
Your redouble is still on the table showing you have over 10 points, right? So now I'm showing, hey, I really do have spade support, and you could bet it's 3 of them if I didn't make it another bid the first time. So it's 2 spades, comes back to south, and then east is done by now. He was done from the beginning. West is now done. And south has enough to invite, right? He has an awfully good
yeah,
spade
see
suit.
nothing there.
And his partner showed 3 spades and 10 or 11 points. So 3 spades,
no, yeah.
3 spades over here,
Okay.
pass,
3.
and he goes
Oh, he
on
goes
to
to
4
4
spades,
spades.
right? And now you're on defense.
Okay. And it's four spades by south, yeah.
You're on defense, what's your opening lead? You shouldn't even have to think about
Ace of
this.
diamonds.
Sure, it's a natural lead, ace, king of diamonds. When you have the ace, king, almost always, I wouldn't say always, but almost always lead the ace. And what it's telling your partner that you got the king because you're a good player and you're not leading out an unsupported ace. So you lead the ace, the diamonds, and now you're looking at that hand.
You'll lose,
And to get this, you're already thinking, how many tricks you need if you're gonna set this contract?
4.
4. Well, here's 3. Right, you got 3.
and the clubs,
Yeah, right. The 4th one is
and the club.
lead a club, because your only way to set this contract is if your partner has to open clubs. Otherwise, they're making it and it's over.
Yeah.
And how do you know that? Because after they knock out your ace of hearts, they're gonna have 3 hearts, and this guy's gonna get 2 pitches, and those clubs are gonna disappear. And you have to switch right now, because if you don't do it right now, if you wait and you let them in, they're gonna win the ace, they'll
And pitch them on the
and
hearts.
they're gonna, on your second time you're playing clubs the second time you're in, they'll win the ace, play the hearts, pitch the clubs.
Yeah.
That's active defense. You gotta take them now or you're not getting them. And this is your clue. Like if this was a ratty suit, hey, you could wait. Hopefully they'll finesse you for the king. But here, they're not finessing you for the king, because they got a place to pitch them, right? Okay, I'll see you
All right,
next week.
thank
Thanks for
you.
coming.
I'm gonna look at these again, very good.